put a pause on it for 2 seconds. You want to be in the room for this one. Please do come on in the room. This is All the Tea, and this is a very special All the Tea with our first ever political discussion, y'all. First ever political discussion. Super excited. We got West Coast in the building. We got Sacramento and LA in the building. So we got West Coast in the building. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen in the room, we got first and foremost Anthony Cherry Kinger here in the building. What's up, Mr. Anthony Cherry?
What's up, beautiful world?
All the way from LA, of course, y'all. And of course, and also in the building, we got Mr. Graffiti Blue in Sacramento. What's up, Mr. Graffiti Blue? Checking in.
Folks, pleasure to be here. How's it going?
Yes. Pleasure to have you guys here for our first ever political discussion. I will say a disclaimer, I'm not a political person. I love what I do. And so when I had the opportunity to do this, I jumped on board. But anything, I might say might be not Verse TV, but from myself, because I'm learning. I'm here because I want to learn, and I want our people to be able to learn. That's why Verse TV brought this discussion together so that we can bring it to our community in a different way, so people can really see things differently. Because we had a discussion on one of our shows, aka Mr. Anthony Cherry over here got some bars things stirred up. So because of that, the wheels kept turning, and here we are. So
that's what it's about.
Further ado, hello.
I'm glad I can inspire this segment.
Yes, and thank you for being here. We're supposed to inspire, motivate each other. So thank you for being here. And because of your inspire and your fire to say be who you are, it brought us here to where we are today. So we have going to get things started with part one of our political discussion. Remember, you guys have 2.5 to 3 minutes to each to discuss each question. So without further ado, we did decide that Mr. LA is going to go first. So the first question is going to be this: from your perspective, what are the top 3 needs of the Black community that a president can impact?
The top 3 needs that a president can impact right now is unity in the world. The second thing a president can do for the world, for as African Americans are concerned, is definitely give us our reparations.
Come on, give us our money.
And then also, I feel like a president should bring to the table total inclusion and diversity in every level of politics.
Every level. I hope y'all heard that.
Every level.
Said it right here first, right here on Verse TV. Wow, those are pretty dope. Thank you for that. Again, this conversation is going to be mind opening, and it's opening my mind to really think and pay attention. So I'm thinking and paying attention. Thank you for that. Those are definitely things that I think that should be focused. But, we're going to switch things over to Mr. Graffiti Blue over here and ask the same question. So the question again, I'll ask one more time. From your perspective, what are the top 3 needs of the Black community that a president can impact?
Well, I'll try to be brief. Number 1 is I believe we need to stop referring to ourselves as a color. We are of African or Moorish descent, descendants of the Moorish Empire. I believe the President of the United States has the power on focusing the country's attention to the myths behind it and steer the myths of color and steer a dialogue towards that discussion to break down the Black. Because when you think white, you think one thing, you think Black, you think another, but the other cultures don't. Chinese people just really don't refer to themselves as yellow. The Indian man doesn't refer to himself as red. You know what I mean? Some white guys call themselves white boys, I think because we call ourselves Black. But the majority really doesn't refer to it as color. And it really exaggerates kind of the triangle, the pyramid of power, where you have the bottom supporting the top 1% at the top. So you got to, it's just too suggestive. I'm sorry. Yeah. So number 2, I believe the education systems need to be rethought. I believe a president can infect that. I believe that there are too many teachers, some of which I know personally, that are overworked and underpaid. In a world where humans are getting replaced by computers, a country that fails to educate its citizens fails itself. You know what I mean? We went to the grocery store the other day. There's no people working there, just computer checkout. But yet the school system is trying to imply that life started with white supremacy. Every empire had an ascension. What happened before European rule? When you do the homework, it was a lot of African rule.
Yeah, there was a lot of present. Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? So I believe that the president can affect that, and a president can start the conversation towards that. And also reparations is what I wanted to say, adding on to what Anthony said. I believe the US government actually partially funded German reparations before, and Holocaust victims after World War II. So
everybody but us.
Right, so reparations isn't new. So I believe a president can affect those three things.
Come on, talk about it. Ooh, this is good, this is good. All right, so question number 2 is this. I'm gonna go back to you, Mr. Cherry. Who has been the most effective president for everyone, mind you, within this millennium, and why? So starting from 2000 on, who has been the most effective president for everyone?
Well, that answer is pretty easy for me. No presidents have caused effective change for, as I believe, how I feel about it. That answer is very simple. Because nothing changes if nothing changes. We as African Americans here in America have been dealing with the same systematic things since I began evolution. So I've seen no change. I've seen us become more wealthier, but the mindset has not changed. And I think a lot of it has part to do with what you said earlier in your conversation about the two things. I feel like the truth has never been told. I just became an awakening back in 2016 where I really realized that everything we have been taught has been a lie. So so that led me to say no president has really done anything but other than manage the monies of the government and the elite.
Everybody else got more money.
Yeah.
Wow.
I agree. I agree with him, and I just want to add to that. When we say, first off, you said that I just want to really touch on something you said, and you said that you're really not into politics that much. And most of us really feel that way, but we're affected by the politics. And so, you know what I mean, whether we want to pay attention to it or not, you know what I mean, when those laws come down, we're affected by it, whether you're getting pulled over, when you're in front of that judge, some decision, whether you voted or not, is being made about your destiny. you follow what I'm saying? But when I'll answer that question too, though, when we say most effective, we can be effective in a positive way, or we could be effective in a negative way. Speaking from the experiences that I actually lived through and witnessed, let's take Ronald Reagan's policy seemed to pit a lot of people of color in prison. Okay, I'm 50 years old, and I was a boy coming of age in New York City in the 80s, right? So many brothers and sisters were in jail disproportionately due to the laws that Ronnie put in place, as far as what you can go to jail for crack, as opposed to the same weight in the same drug and cocaine and powder cocaine. It was just crazy, and it affected. Meanwhile, those same policies had all of these guns and drugs coming into the community, right? You know, so the country, if one of us is a Black man or people of African descent, red, yellow, orange, purple, if one of us is doing bad, then we're all pretty much doing bad because we tend to drag the other people down. So
that crabs in the barrel.
Then Bill Clinton came right in with the 3-strike law that even made it even worse.
Right, and remember when Bill Clinton got elected and how much hope Black people had. And then I really started getting educated on campaign promises that are made and then campaign promises that are broken. You know what I mean?
And to piggyback, that's one reason why I identify with Trump, because everything that he said that he ran on his campaign, he actually have done. So he's been a man of his word in that part of his integrity.
I think that
from draining the swamp, bringing back America's jobs, making America first. That's one of the things that Donald Trump has done that gained like my attention, that he was really about America first. And by being an American, it affects all of us. That's not even about color. Bringing the jobs back, like a lot of the car plants, you know, he brought some of them back. And that supplied a lot of Black people that I knew in the Midwest jobs. Because when I grew up, everybody worked at the post office or at a car, at one of the auto dealerships. So I respect that that Donald Trump has done, and he's actually lived up to that for me at this point.
Got you. Nice. And so to segue from that, let's segue to question number 3.
Okay.
Who has been the most effective president for the Black community during this millennium? Since you're talking about Trump and things that he's doing for America, has done for America during the millennium, who has been the most effective president for the Black community?
Once again,